So hey everyone, welcome back to this special series of Collegedunia where we take interviews of all the students who've converted India's top B schools. And whenever we mention about the top B school, the first name that comes to our mind is IIM Ahmedabad. And talking about IIM Ahmedabad, we have Gauravi from IIM Ahmedabad. So let me tell you guys, Gauravi is one of those students who have broken the stereotypes that girls can't score good percentiles because Gauravi has just scored 99, not just, but a year ago she was able to score 99.995 percentile. So Gauravi, first of all, congratulations for being in IIM Ahmedabad, the dream college of 99% of students who are preparing for the CAT exam. So first of all, congratulations. And now that you have spent a year at IIM Ahmedabad, you are much more experienced than all of the students, all the 2 lakh students who pay for the CAT exam. So, so Gauravi, welcome to the series. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for the amazing introduction, Chapriya, and I'm glad to be here.
Right. So to all the CAT aspirants, unlike you all, Gauravi is a little bit busy with her internships. So Gauravi will not talk about the internships. But yes, so Gauravi, so before we start the interview, I'll just let the students know that students in this interview will talk about a little bit about how to prepare for the CAT exam. We'll talk about how your dream college looks like, how the IIM Ahmedabad dreams look like. And finally, we'll talk about the IIM Ahmedabad interview experience that Gauravi had last year. So stay tuned, and Gauravi, let's start with your profile before you entered IIM Ahmedabad.
Sure. So before I ended up at IIM-A, I had worked at Analog Devices, which is a semiconductor firm, for about a year. And before that, I was studying at IIT Bhubaneswar. I was studying electrical engineering there.
Right.
So my profile is 998. So if that's what you were looking for. And
right.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, it's just Gauravi. But so basically, there's this thing that IIM Ahmedabad runs behind girls, but you're already an engineer, so that may not be true. I'm sorry. So Gauravi, let's finally talk. So because you scored such a brilliant percentile like 99.95, I scored 97 after 2 years of preparation, so I know how tough it is to crack the CAT exam. But since you are an engineer, I'm expecting that your quants must be very on your tips and all. So how was your strategy? What was your strategy in tackling the quant section of the CAT exam?
Actually, there was no particular strategy for quants as such. I will share the overall strategy that I followed, and this will be helpful for most students, I hope, not just the engineers.
Right.
But see, for every student, there is one particular section that is not an issue for them. So maybe for some students who are from the literature background, maybe VARC is not an issue for them. And for some others, LRDI might not be much of an issue because they are good at solving puzzles, let's say.
Right.
So similarly for me, quants was like no big deal. And most of the formulas we already knew, and whatever I did not know, we could just go through the formulas and that was it.
Right.
So my strategy was that since quants was easy for me, I kept it as a reward. So I studied, like I solved VARC first, I solved LRDI puzzles, and then as a reward for completing like a particular set, like 2 passages of VARC, let's say. So I used to solve like 10 quants questions or something.
Right. So Gauravi, that is so unconventional to hear because यहाँ पे quants करते करते सबकी लग जाती है and यहाँ पे आप खुद को reward कर रहे हो. वाओ, मैंने 2 सेक्शन कर लिए, अब मैं 10 क्वेश्चन क्वांटिंग करूंगी, मजा आएगा. I don't know.
Because it was terrifying for me to solve VARC because in the very beginning it was तुक्के जैसा था in a way. VARC में कभी-कभी सही आ जाता था, कभी-कभी मतलब there are 2 or 3 options which are very close and it used to go wrong.
Right.
So I had to like slowly figure out how that is, and in the very beginning I realized that I am not solving VARC as much as I should, and I was just gravitating towards quants because वो आता है, easily हो रहा है तो बस करते जाओ blindly. Right. So that was something that I wanted to change. I wanted to focus on my weak areas. So this is what I sort of did to reward yourself with whatever you feel best.
राइट. सो गौरवी, क्या होता है कि जैसे इंजीनियर्स का यूजुअली क्वांट सेक्शन बहुत बेटर होता है बाकी सेक्शन से, और नॉन इंजीनियर्स का सब कुछ खराब होता है. तो मेरे को ये जानना था कि क्या होता है कि जितने भी मैंने इंटरव्यूज लिए हैं या जितना भी मैंने लोगों से बात करी है इंजीनियर से, बेसिकली उनका क्वांट सेक्शन तो अच्छे से हो जाता है, बट 99% केसेस में उनका VARC फंसता है. एंड ऐसा क्यों है कि इंजीनियर्स का VARC क्यों फंसता है, मेरे को ये जानना है।
क्यों फंसता है, इसका द मेन रीजन फॉर दैट इज we have never had that kind of a high level English practice.
Right.
So neither in 12th nor for the JEE prep, which most engineers have done, and neither during our 4 years of engineering, we are exposed to that level of English and the kind of analysis that VARC expects of us.
Right.
So I think that is a major reason why many people are weak, and most people don't engage in reading either novels or maybe some editorials or anything.
Right.
So that is another reason. So we have no reading practice. We are not exposed to it.
Right, but Gauravi, there's this thing like कि जो CAT की VARC है, it is similar to a logic. It is similar to logic in a way. Like you just have to comprehend whatever written it in the passage, right? But still, students are not very good in VARC section. कि LRDA फिर भी एक बार प्रैक्टिस करने के बाद they get the hang of it, right? But VARC something कि वो end D-Day तक लोगों को परेशान करता है, even कि वो लॉजिक से रिलेटेड है. तो उसमें क्यों इतनी दिक्कत आ रही है, और अगर लॉजिक से ही रिलेटेड है तो फिर वो क्यों इम्प्रूव नहीं होता इतनी जल्दी?
The thing is, logic in language is a bit trickier than logic in math in general. Math का logic एकदम black and white होता है. But यहाँ पे I would just like to give an example कि he had little doubt in his mind versus he had a little doubt in his mind. So there's this difference of A in both the sentences, but the first sentence is like he had no doubt in his mind, and the second sentence implies that thoda sa doubt tha.
Right.
So similar, like these small nuances in language is something that if we are not exposed to it since our childhood, so it creates that barrier going ahead.
Exactly.
So and learning all of this in a short span of time takes बहुत मेहनत लगती है.
Right. So Gauravi, how were you able to improve VARC?
So it was practice. Okay. But I will try to elaborate on it. So what I did was I broke down all the VARC sections that were there. So first of all, we have the reading comprehension, which is like compulsory. We get 3 or 4 passages. Next we have some I don't remember the full form of that.
Okay. I don't. Odd one out, I think. Odd one out. Yeah.
Odd one out. Yeah. Right. This is odd one out. Then you had to arrange the sentences logically.
Right.
And you had to like there was this 4 or 5 different types of questions जिससे हाँ 2-3 सवाल आ जाते थे.
Right.
Right. So the RC part was compulsory. And so what I did was I mostly followed Arun Sharma, and then there was some like most of my preparation was self-preparation itself. And then I enrolled on some 2-3 platforms. And from there, I went through like one passage, and I used to time myself. In the very beginning, I did not time myself. I took as much time as required to like go through the passage carefully and try to solve the questions. Like just आदत बनाने दो कि correct answer दे दो.
Exactly.
उसके बाद you try to speed it up. अगर शुरू से ही आप ये decide करो कि नहीं 10 मिनट में मेरा passage होना ही चाहिए, तो वो speed की वजह से accuracy टूट जाती है. So first you focus on accuracy, speed धीरे धीरे आ जाएगा.
Right.
So RC is something that I focused on. बाकी के जो 4-5 क्वेश्चन के टाइप्स थे, तो उसमें I kept on solving questions. फिर रियलाइज होता है धीरे धीरे कि you are better at 1 or 2 particular types of questions, and you are really not good at some others. कि कुछ इसमें तुम्हारी accuracy 80-90% होती है, and for some it's like 50, तुक्का जैसा होता है.
Right.
So in the actual exam, I just avoided those questions first. जो मुझे आता था, जो मेरा strong point है, वही मैंने solve किया. And RCs तो मतलब करने ही थे, तो उसमें like you have to practice those. There is no other option.
Right.
So yeah, ये strategy करी थी.
Right. So गौरवी, क्योंकि हमने थोड़ी बहुत बुक्स और मॉक्स के बारे में बात करी आपने, सो उस पे जाने से पहले मेरे को आपसे बात करनी है LRDA सेक्शन, जो इंजीनियर्स नॉन इंजीनियर्स लाइक दोनों का फंसता है. राइट. सो LRDA में आपकी क्या स्ट्रेटजी थी, कितने सेट सॉल्व किए आपने, और अगर नंबर ऑफ सेट्स पे ही LRDA का मार्क्स डिपेंड करते हैं?
So for LRDA, what you have to do, like this is something that only one of my friends who had appeared for CAT a year before me had told me, that don't rush to see the solution first. Even if it takes you half an hour, even if it takes you 40 minutes to solve that set, take your time, and then you have to do one more thing, like whether you are able to solve the set or not. कि suppose कोई एक set है कि हो ही नहीं रहा है solve, and you go through the solution, try to compare कि वहाँ पे क्या steps adopt हुए हैं and तुमने क्या steps follow किए,
right,
and try to visualize कि why they went through all of those steps, because ऐसे देखा जाए तो when you go through the solution, that solution is intuitive कि हाँ यहाँ से ये होना चाहिए, वहाँ से वो होना चाहिए, हाँ हो गया, and when you go on to solve a similar sort of set again, you are not able to solve it. So when I started adopting this strategy, it is very time consuming, trust me, कि शुरू में I used to solve like 5-6 sets a day, मतलब ऐसे ही कि set करो, नहीं आ रहा है जो भी solution देखो, हाँ ठीक है समझ में आ गया, next set करो. But when I started adopting this strategy, I could hardly solve 2 or 3 sets a day.
Okay. So,
but it was so effective. मतलब धीरे धीरे मेरी accuracy बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ने लगी. Because I started visualizing कि हाँ ठीक है, last time जो solve किया था similar set, तो उन्होंने ऐसे steps follow किए थे. तो this is a same kind of question. तो यहाँ पे ये मैं try करके देखती हूँ, वो try करके देखती हूँ, based on whatever information is given.
Right. So you basically went for quality over quantity, right? So that's so good. So Gauravi, let's talk कि अभी आपने जैसे मेंशन किया आप अरुण शर्मा की बुक्स फॉलो करते थे, तो वाई अरुण शर्मा? बिकॉज अदर इंस्टीट्यूट्स की बुक्स भी अवेलेबल होते हैं, आप करियर लॉन्चर वगैरह IIMS की बुक्स आप भी कहीं ना कहीं से सोर्स कर ही लेते हो, जुगाड़ हो ही जाता है. So why did you go for just one set of books and that too of Arun Sharma?
So I had heard a lot about him first of all. Like whenever you search for cat ki books, so like Arun Sharma is something that pops up first.
Right.
And and actually I did talk to some of my friends, so they also suggested that, recommended me to go through his books, because they have, at least for quants, I would say, those who are struggling with quants, so they have these 3 levels of difficulty for any chapter. So the all the questions are arranged like chapter wise, so it's very structured, and you have 3 levels of difficulty. So you go to the first level, you don't have to solve all the questions, obviously you can like pick and choose ki like har odd question solve karo, multiples of 3 mein solve karo, but then as you progress dheere dheere, so you realize ki ha theek hai, like you are slowing down a bit, so how you can time that, and all that strategy is given in the book. So I have actually not referred to any other book at all, so I cannot comment on it. But I feel that at least for those who are struggling with quants, Arun Sharma is very good for structuring your preparation.
Right. So Gauravi, is it safe to say that your all preparation was of self study and that's it, or did you?
I would say 95% of my preparation was self study.
Right, but why are you saying this? Because this, I don't know. So did you enroll in any institute or something like that?
So in the last month, I had enrolled in a crash course. That is just because I had completed my self-study, and I didn't have that motivation to keep on revising further. So I thought that at least if I pay for a course and I'm enrolled in it, and regularly they are taking classes, so that is something that that will keep motivating me to just keep studying.
Right. So I think this is some aspect that students may miss out, because क्या होता है कि जो students बार-बार preparation कर लेते हैं, तो last month आते-आते तो वो थोड़े ढीले पड़ जाते हैं कि यार बहुत पढ़ लिया यार, क्योंकि उनका books खोलने का मन ही नहीं करता है. So this is a very good strategy. I missed this strategy. That's why I was not able to score 99. So it's okay. So Gauravi, let's talk.
Actually, there is another thing that I would like to add.
Please.
Most students, they're scared of taking mocks unless they have completed the entire syllabus, which is something that they should not do. Like come August, September, they should start giving mocks.
Right.
Because through mocks you get an idea कि at least जो syllabus आपका complete हुआ है, वो इसमें कहाँ पे अटक रहे हो, वो समझ में आ जाता है.
Right. So
an idea does not need any syllabus as such. So exactly. That is something that you can keep going. Quants का जैसे syllabus आपका खत्म होता रहेगा, you will start scoring more.
Right. So Gauravi, कि आपकी मॉक की स्ट्रेटजी क्या होती थी? आपने कितने नंबर ऑफ मॉक्स दिए, और मॉक देने के बाद आपके नेक्स्ट 3 आवर्स क्या होते थे, मतलब मॉक एनालिसिस में?
That is a very interesting question. Thank you very much. So mocks मैंने I actually sadly started giving mocks quite late. So it was like I gave 1.5 months of mocks, and उसके पहले I had given some 10-12 mocks only.
Okay.
So dedicated mock की practice, like it was 1.5 months.
Okay.
But what I did was, since I had realized that VRC is my weaker section, So you get sectional mocks as well, right? So I used to give more sectional mocks for VARC just to get a feel of how it should be. And during the actual exam, you get a timer on the screen, right? So that is something that you should, and like the order of the sections is fixed. So you get VARC, you get LRDI, you get Quants. So you have to set, I used to set my phone ka timer, and like in the reverse order, you should know कि like 10 minutes are gone, मेरा एक set होना चाहिए इसमें, मेरा एक passage complete होना चाहिए. तो इस type से I used to give my mocks. And after the mock was done, obviously analysis तो था ही. Quants में generally मेरा actually कुछ ज़्यादा analysis होता नहीं था. Most of my जो भी mistakes होते थे, they were because I did not remember the correct formula. So I used to go back and practice the formula. LRDI में, like I mentioned, the actual solution I used to compare with what I had thought of. And for VARC, the RCs especially, I used to try to write down in like my personal shorthand. I used to write down what logic I used to come to a certain solution. Because after you have completed like a 2-hour, 3-hour का mock, you don't remember कि तभी मैंने क्या सोच के ये आंसर मार्क किया था. When you go through the solution, it is very obvious कि हाँ ये होना चाहिए था इसलिए ये आंसर है. पता नहीं मैंने ये आंसर क्यों मार्क किया. So you have to remember that thought process कि why you marked a particular answer, why you felt that, and then you have to compare कि okay, what actually my thought process should have been.
Right. So Gauravi, you seem a little triggered with VARC. So moving on. Let's find up our cat interview थोड़ा बहुत. उसके बाद हम हमारे ड्रीम के बारे में बात करेंगे. तो फाइनली लास्ट क्वेश्चन इज कि कैट की रिवीजन कैसे करनी है, कंपाइल कैसे करना है, इतना पढ़ तो लिया बस इसको याद कैसे करना है या रिटेन कैसे करना है, उसके बारे में थोड़ा आइडिया दीजिए.
Okay, I'll go in the normal order now, starting with VARC. Vocab is something that you have to keep practicing. And what else? Other questions is something you have to like just keep doing. मतलब दिन में थोड़ा बहुत करते रहो ऐसे. और या फिर मॉक्स देते रहो, सेक्शनल मॉक्स, या फिर जस्ट आरसी पैसेजेस सॉल्व करते रहो जब भी टाइम मिले. तो आई एक्चुअली समटाइम्स मेरे से बैक टू बैक मीटिंग्स लगते थे एंड मीटिंग के बीच में ऐसे 15-20 मिनट का गैप रहता था. तो उसमें पूरा सेक्शनल मॉक तो नहीं दे सकते, बट देन आई यूज्ड टू सॉल्व आरसी पैसेज बीच में बैठ के. बस कुछ काम है नहीं, तो आई यूज्ड टू डू दैट. तो ऐसे मतलब जब भी मोमेंट्स मिले, लाइक दिस इज फॉर वर्किंग प्रोफेशनल्स एज वेल, कि आई अंडरस्टैंड देयर इज नॉट मच टाइम, but then this is also something you can do to like utilize whatever time you have.
Right.
Coming to LRDI ke if you are weak at any particular type of question, so like maybe it's sort of a game ya fir Einstein puzzles or something, if you're weak at that, try to write down a strategy. If this type of question comes, so like what clues you should be looking for first, and like cross out on the question paper, or like just note down all the clues on a sheet of paper that you get, and like cross out whatever you have used.
Right.
तो कभी-कभी ये भी होता है कि you are not able to incorporate a certain piece of information because it's not obvious to you. So that is there, and I will share a tip for the D-Day as well. And for quants is just key formulas वगैरह revise करो.
Right.
And so on the D-Day, first I would like to mention that go through, like suppose you're solving RCs. So in the first 2-3 minutes, like just go through the RCs. Suppose you're good at psychology. So अगर कोई RC psychology से related है, तो opt for that first. If you're good at engineering, like or maybe space or whatever, if something is related to your interest, then go for that one first. Is what I would say. If you don't know the answer to a particular question, don't try to guess it. Do not try to guess it. That has like made me lose marks in most of my mocks. So it's very difficult to give up. मतलब you think यार 50-50 chance है, maybe मिल जाएगा, but the thing is like those 2-3 marks make a huge difference in your CAT percentile.
Right.
So it's best not to take that risk.
Right.
Again, same thing for LRDI. Don't spend more than 10 minutes. Like if you are actually stuck on a set, you're not able to like move even an inch further. So what makes you think, yeah, I've come so far, and after that, how do I leave this behind and go to the next set?
Right.
So what had happened with me is the first set that I got in LRDI, that was something of like my personal favorite type of puzzle. So I just started solving it. And here, around 7-8 minutes into it, I realized that I am stuck and I'm not able to move further. So I just left it there. I just read through all the like second or fourth question. I solved the fourth one, I solved the third one, and I like barely solved the second one. Like just in time before the timer ran out. So yeah, sometimes you have to give it up, because if I had spent time on the first one itself, I wouldn't have been able to solve the other three.
True. Right.
So yeah, that's it.
Right, Gauravi, let's move to our second part of the interview, and that is the dream at IIM Ahmedabad. First of all, I would like you to mention from yourself that where is your internship is currently.
Okay, so right. I am interning at Bangalore and at Boston Consulting Group.
Right. So guys, if you don't know what Boston Consulting Group is and you're still preparing for the CAT exam, you should leave. Because if you don't know what a dream company looks like, then I'm not sure what you're doing with your life. But let's Gauravi talk how a typical day is at IIM Ahmedabad and what all things you do. And just IIM Ahmedabad is there's this thing that IIM Ahmedabad is very much focused on just academics and that academic rigor. But I want you to tell all the students that that there are a lot more things to IIM Ahmedabad that the students may not know. So tell us, please go through all your days and what used to happen, something like that. Please tell us share little stories that we want to know.
I would love to share my experiences at my college. So yeah, like everybody mentions, IIM-A is very rigorous in academics. Right. The A stands for academics, which is true.
Right.
So the daily schedule is sort of like this. We have our classes start at 8:45 up to 1:15. So we have 3 lectures in total. And after that, you have the 1:45 quiz. Like it's a surprise quiz. So you don't know which subject will it be, what will be the syllabus. Like the syllabus will be basically what is covered up to that point. So, and basically whenever the quiz is announced, our learning curve is like exponential. Before the quiz is announced, we are here, and by the time we go for the quiz, it's somewhere here. So that is one of my most fun memories. The way we used to all sit together. Oh, quiz aa gaya, chalo padhte hain. What else? After the quiz, you basically have the day to yourself. But then most people, they engage in case competitions or they have something else to do. You have readings to go through, like for the next day. You have cases to read and books to go through. So there's quite a lot. Maybe some of you have seen the iconic photos which students put after their first year. So there's a stack of books. And students are standing beside those stack of books. So yeah, that's the entire thing that you have to go through in a year. So yeah, that's that. And then there are many other activities which you can do on the campus, like sports here. There are some students who do dance workshops as well. So that is there. What else? I am lost for words, to be honest. I'll go term wise.
Right.
So basically in every term you have like 12 to 13 subjects that you have to go through in 3 months. And in the first term, you are mostly focused on your CV. So building your CV points, har jagah se approve kara ke lao. So in case you have got an admission in any college, I would just give you a warning that get your CV points approved from your manager or your school or whatever, so that it's easier going forward. So once you have that contact initially, it's easier to like fir se ye karna ki haan theek hai approve kar do. So that was a pain, and many students, like we ended up crying, me and my best friend, we used to take turns crying. And so it was like, looking back at it, it's fun, but at that point it was not fun at all. And what else? So that was the first term for you. In the second term, you have SIP preparation. So you start getting shortlisted for various firms, and you start getting these calls, and then people form groups and start preparing for the SIPs. And that was also one of my most memorable phases. And in the third term, you think it's going to be chill because you're placed. You don't have a CV to worry about. But in the third term, you have a hell lot of projects, a hell lot of assignments to do, along with your study group. So you can pray that you get a good study group to work with. And so yeah, that is basically life at IIM-A.
Right, beautiful, Gauravi. And let's finally wind up our interview with the third phase of the interview, and that is your PI experience. So I want to include my another question is that why MBA? First of all, I know you've answered it thousands of times, but I want you to answer this one last time, that why MBA? And after that, please let us know about your PI experience. How many panelists were there? What kind of questions were asked to you, if you remember, if you could recall?
Sure. So why MBA is, I actually am a kind of person that cannot work on like one particular small thing for very long. So mostly in SD, so I was an IC design engineer. So it was similar only. So you get a module to work on, and for like 2-3 years, you keep working on it, you keep revising it. And for some people, they do like it. They do care for that project as their own child, and like they love it. But I'm someone that requires some sort of novelty. So I thought it's best for me to change my career path to something new. And MBA also provided me that flexibility, of my career. So that is the honest reason why I chose MBA. I won't be telling you the answer that I told the interviewers.
The perfect. And now the PI experience.
Sure. So actually, personally, I felt that IIM PI experience was very wholesome.
Okay.
Like most other IIMs concentrated on one or two particular things, but IIM PI experience kind of forced me to think outside the box. So, and they did not focus much on my ability to remember things, which is like I'm very grateful for, because I'm not able to remember like hard data. So most of the questions, one more thing that I would just like to highlight: most IIMs, they do not test your ability to memorize like everything under the sun. So what they focus on, so suppose you are an engineer, you have worked as an SD in a particular type of firm, so they will expect you to know what that particular what your firm does, what similar firms do, what is the industry like. So it's related to that one topic. Suppose you are from Mumbai, so they'll expect you to know something about Mumbai, something about Konkan region in general, something about Maharashtra. So that is how those interviews go. And I'll tell you one more thing. Like, this is just a basic idea. I'll come to IIM-A.
Right.
That in all my interviews, I was not able to answer almost 30 to 40% of the questions in most of my interviews.
Okay.
And it's okay to say that you don't know, instead of just trying to guess something. You can ask them if you have some sort of idea about that topic. You can ask them, I have some idea. Is it okay if I guess something?
Yeah.
But they do not like it. The interviewers know when you're bluffing, and they can catch you, and then it goes very bad. Just the trick to that is you accept that you don't know. You accept that this is a very interesting question, and you are very honest that this is something that you'll go and look up and read about after the interview is done. So you have to be honest about that. So that being done, let's come back to IIM PI experience. So some questions were related to my BTech background. So I'm an electrical engineer, and so they asked me what role did electrical engineers play during COVID. So like that was COVID time was going on, so they did ask me that. And some other like academic related 1 or 2 questions. So it was basic like diodes and all, like how would you make an AND gate, and like 1 or 2 questions related to that. And then they asked me, as an electrical engineer, what problem of the world would I like to solve? So like these are questions that I had never thought about before. And it was so interesting and so challenging for me to be able to think on the spot. And again, you have AWT, right? So sometimes they do ask you things related to AWT, sometimes they don't. So for me, it was a bit relatable topic. So mine was on working women, how they have to juggle 2 responsibilities at the same time. And I had actually gone through a similar experience in my personal life at that point. So I was open about it during the interview. And so they asked me a bit more like, how did you relate to this AWT passage? What do you think can companies do to be able to, better facilitate these women and better be able for them to grow into their roles? So that was what most of the discussion was about.
Right. So perfect, Gauravi. And my final question is that did you actually look after for the things that you don't know in the interview or not?
I did, and that did come in handy because in one of my interviews, I was asked about the semiconductor fabrication
Mm,
scenario in India, and I had like a very brief idea about it. I did not
right.
know about it in detail, but I read about it.
Hmm.
And then a similar question was asked in IIM Bangalore interview.
Right. So to all the students, just because कि हाँ बोल देंगे बाद में पढ़ेंगे नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता. Everything counts, and some things or the other, if you read, that will help you in the future. So with that being said, Gauravi, I think we should wind up our interview here, and thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for your generosity and kindness, because I know you're busy with your internships. But to all the viewers, we hope we were able to add some value to your preparation as well as to your future PA experiences and dreams for IIM Ahmedabad. And if you like the video, like this video, share with your friends and spread knowledge, and subscribe to the channel Collegedunia MBA. And to Gauravi, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me, and all the best to all the aspirants and everyone who has got into any college of their choice.
Yeah, thank you so much.